as long as the demand for real estate in Turkey, and particularly in Istanbul, holds, and there doesn't seem to be any signs to indicate that Turkish people will all of a sudden hold back from buying real estate. Quite to the contrary, the culture and the mindset of young, upwardly mobile Turkish people is to buy real estate as soon as they can. So as long as this particular culture and mindset prevails, then the demand will only keep on increasing. And as long as that happens, I do not see any tailing back in the property prices in Istanbul or any other major real estate destinations in Turkey.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk. In this one, we're here at our Istanbul office with Deggin. Cameron, welcome.
Hello.
Today, we'll be talking about a subject where everyone really wants to know, right?
Alaattin actually said he's going to corner me.
No, I didn't say I'm going to corner you.
What do you mean by that? We shall figure out. We shall find out. However, he said he's going to throw some rather difficult questions onto me with a view to cornering me. Let's see.
I didn't quite say that.
You did.
What I said was I have some arguments which I didn't tell him prior to the program.
Yeah.
So that
he's got a few arguments up his sleeve, so to say.
So
he's
as we go along, I'm going to pull that out.
Me.
Yeah.
All right, let's see that.
Let our audience know about what we're going to talk about today, right? It's a very strange situation. Well, it isn't strange for us because we're here in locals. We know the real estate market. We know the prices. But in Turkey, especially in Istanbul, well, all around Turkey, the real estate prices are going up in US dollar terms.
In hard currency terms. And from the viewpoint of the outsider, the would-be property buyer, onlooker from outside, that is a little bit of a mind-boggling situation. Right. And why is that?
It makes absolutely no sense because the Turkish lira has devalued.
What, 30% in 2021?
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Well, quite considerably, let's say.
I don't know because last month I would give you a different figure. Yeah. A month prior to that, I would give you a different figure. Next week, I will give you a different figure. So let's say the Turkish lira has devalued considerably, yes. Yet the prices in USD terms have increased big time, have gone up. My question to you, Mr. Cameron Deggin, now, why do you think this is happening? What are some of the key points? 3, 4 of them, I think you got them. What are the reasons that is pushing these prices up?
So why are property prices in Turkey going up despite a devaluing Turkish lira and high inflation?
Right.
And interest rates, the macroeconomic policy of the government, which appears to be rather unorthodox. So you're asking me, despite this particular background, why are the prices going up when most of our would-be overseas buyers expect the prices to be going down? Right. And they think there are so many opportunities to be grabbed because prices should be going down. Right. Yet, we're going to have to break it to them, well, we are breaking it to them every day, that, hold on, prices are actually going up.
Right.
Why? Okay, here are some of the reasons. Textbook reasons, by the way. I didn't come up with them. We investigated.
Okay.
All right, one, and this is something that I know myself. Land prices are going up. Supply versus demand. Compared to now, compare it 5 years ago, availability of buildable land. That means land where there is zoning, where you can actually build something, is going down and down and down. So there is a limited amount of buildable land, particularly in areas such as Istanbul, Bodrum, Antalya, Fethiye, Izmir. So the mainstream areas, less and less buildable land is available. Demand versus supply, inevitable conclusion, land prices have gone up. considerably, in fact, which of course impacts property prices. 2, build costs, materials. Now, interestingly, over 60% of standard construction costs are US dollar denominated in Turkey.
Right, it's pegged to dollars.
They're pegged to dollars and they're imported.
Right.
Iron, steel, even some concrete is imported. So these costs have gone up. Well, if the construction costs have gone up, inevitably property prices will and are going up. 3, there is a demand for more luxurious homes in Turkey.
Property quality is going
Property quality has gone up. Real estate quality in Turkey has gone up noticeably in the past 5 to 10 years.
Do you know what? Let me tell you something. That was something I didn't think about. To be honest with you, I didn't think about
It's not something that comes to your mind because you it happens slowly, so you get used to it. But if we look at properties we used to sell 10 years ago
very basic,
in Istanbul,
just the paint,
and look at the properties we sell now, like compare like for like in terms of areas, etc., propositions, the quality of what they are building today compared to what they were building 10 years ago is significantly higher today than it was 10 years ago, which means that developers feel the need to give more in terms of facilities, in terms of quality of finishing, and more importantly, green areas. That's the buzzword these days. We've covered that in a Straight Talk a few weeks ago. Green area allotment. That is, simply put, say you're building X number of homes on 10,000 square meters of land. Nowadays, of that 10,000 square meters, something in the region of 6,000 square meters, if not 7,000 square meters, are allocated to green areas. So obviously, the more area you allocate to green areas, it means the less area you have to build, which again impacts the cost, increases
and the
lifestyle
cost. Quality goes up.
Exactly. And finance. Turkish home buyers have the ability these days to go to banks and to get 50, 60, 70% of the cost of the property they're buying as a loan from the bank. In other words, mortgages are a lot more widely available today than, say, 5 years ago. So all these factors put together certainly have an impact to push the property prices up. And they are pushing the property prices up. Plus, there is a genuine increase in the domestic demand for housing. Foreign demand certainly has increased and is increasing exceptionally significantly. There's a massive increase in foreign demand. But compared to the portion of the domestic demand, foreign demand, despite its increasing fast, is still rather narrow. So let's look at the domestic demand for housing. It is going up. Turkish people, want to own their own properties as much as they can. Real estate is always a good investment, so it secures your future.
Real estate definitely is a good investment, but this demand that we're getting on real estate is, I'm not going to say it's somewhat unnatural, but it is viewed as a defense mechanism towards a currency of a country that's been depreciating. So the currency shouldn't depreciate in the first place. But then again, when you look at Turkey's position in the world, it being an emerging market, and we have the new economic model now that Turkey wants to boost up exports. The government basically wants to turn the country into this little China next to Europe that is, really accessible with a lot of skilled workers and young people and etc. So they want to further devalue the currency and boost up the economy to boost up the export. I get that. I understand that. Its effects on the real estate industry, we see it this way. And another reason why the prices are going up, and actually I'm going to support you in that low supply level. You said land prices. More importantly, do you remember in the past 4 or 5 years, it has been always talked about that Istanbul would have overstock of properties, especially on the outskirts. Yeah. There is overstock. We even covered it in one of our episodes that there is overstock. This is the number of the stock and everything. In Turkey, every year, 1.5 million real estate transactions takes place. Among that, 250,000 real estate transactions do take place in Istanbul. Now, not all of them are brand new real estate.
Of course not.
It's from people to people transition. But as the experts are saying, for a healthy real estate market for Istanbul, it needs to have at least 200,000 units available on the stock. Today, the stock is less than 90,000.
Is that so?
It is halved. So this Istanbul 3-4 years ago that we were talking about, that, the city has an overstock, the city has this. The city has no stock at all.
Yeah,
that is one of
yeah.
the biggest reasons that is pushing the prices up. Because think about it. How many clients we have? Thousands. How many field personnel we have? Over 20? Every day people are going out. And every day in the past 3-4 months, this is what you're hearing. Man, it's very hard.
It's very hard
to find the stock these days.
Yeah.
Because that is a reality right now.
Yeah.
In a situation where the stock is very hard to find, you would naturally expect the prices to go up. And let me ask you this question. We've been saying prices are going up in Istanbul. Certainly people who invested, who bought into Turkish real estate 2-3 years ago, have reaped off their benefits. Now, the question comes down to a person who wants to invest today. Mm-hmm. Is the market as lucrative as it used to be 2-3 years ago? And more importantly, is it a right time to get into the property market?
In my opinion, there's no right or wrong time to get into a property market. Honest truth. And property is not the type of investment any longer, whether you buy today and try to sell off with a massive profit in 6 months' time. Those days are gone. So if you're investing in property and you're coming into the market as an investor, then take a medium to long-term approach, which is minimum 3 years, but ideally 3 to 5 year approach. Now, as long as the demand for real estate in Turkey, and particularly in Istanbul, holds, and there doesn't seem to be any signs to indicate that Turkish people will all of a sudden hold back from buying real estate. Quite to the contrary, the culture and the mindset of young, upwardly mobile Turkish people is to buy real estate as soon as they can. So as long as this particular culture and mindset prevails, then the demand will only keep on increasing. And as long as that happens, I do not see any tailing back in the property prices in Istanbul or any other major real estate destinations in Turkey. So, is it a good time to come into the market? Well, if you had come into the market 5 years ago, it was a better time.
Right.
But today is a better time, most certainly, than it will be in 3 years' time.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, certainly, because
it
it's all about
does,
graphs.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, there's no use in crying after spilled milk, as they say. So you haven't come into the market, you haven't come into the market. Right. So what I'm saying is, it's not too late. Come into the market today and enjoy the value growth that Turkish real estate will see, just the same as IMF predictions I saw 2 days ago.
Right.
They expect Turkish GDP by 2026 to be almost 1.4 trillion US dollars.
In nominal.
Nominal. In 2021, nominal GDP in Turkey is expected to be around 875 to 900 billion US dollars. So if IMF projects the GDP of the country over the next 4 years to move from, let's say, 900 billion to 1.4 trillion.
That's more than 50%.
That means this country is expected to do very, very well over the next 5 years.
Right.
Now, real estate is the locomotive sector of the Turkish industry. It isn't about to change over the next 5 years, which means you come into the market today, and unless you come into the market in the wrong place and you've done a massive mistake in your evaluation process as to what to buy, unless you do massive errors, you are likely to enjoy quite strong value growth in Turkish real estate.
Right.
What more can I say?
Has the market been saturated, or is there still room to grow?
You mean the value?
No, you kind of answered it, but what
Yeah.
I'm getting at is that when you compare Istanbul to other major metropolitans in the world,
Well, you do the sums, Alaattin. I mean, look at London, New York, and then go down to, say, smaller cities, Rome, Barcelona,
well,
Dubai. So we've gone around the world.
I
so to
had the
speak.
numbers. I was just trying to
And
extract
you know,
those
look at
numbers out of
these.
you.
Look at the average,
Right.
the average property prices in these cities, and let's further zoom into, let's say, city centers,
Right.
so that no one could criticize us for comparing apples to oranges. Let's try and compare apples to apples as much as we possibly can by looking at central zones of these cities.
Pound for pound. Let's
Average
talk about it.
property prices, and then see where Istanbul stacks up. In my opinion, you will find that Istanbul is by far the most affordable city out of these cities that I just named.
Correct. Let me tell you the prices now. These are the average per square meter prices in the city centers of these metropolitan cities. London, $16,700. New York, 15.5. Paris, 14.4. Rome, $7,600.
Massive drop from Paris to Rome.
Right. Barcelona, $5,400. Dubai, $3,500. Istanbul, just under $2,000.
So now I think that kind of pretty much sums it up. So let's look at Istanbul and compare it to, what was the most expensive city on that list? London. London was almost $17,000
Right.
per square meter, right?
Istanbul, say almost $2,000.
And Istanbul is almost $2,000 per square meter. These are the average central location property prices.
Correct.
Per square meter. So you're looking at a comparison of 1 to 8. So London,
massive.
central London, is 8 times more expensive than Istanbul.
Right.
Now, I will give you another stat. Purchasing power parity is 1 to 3,
Right.
which means the average take-home pay compared to London, so the Istanbul average take-home pay and London average take-home pay, you're going to find that London, someone living in London, the average Joe Bloggs in London is 3 times as wealthy as Joe Bloggs in Istanbul. However, the average property price in central London is 8 times higher
Right.
than Istanbul.
Right.
Do you see what I'm getting at?
Right.
So which means that Istanbul has got a lot more room for value growth in real estate terms than London has.
Of course. And if you add
And London
in-
is a major real estate market.
Of course.
Will always deliver.
course.
Despite Brexit, property prices in London have been going up. So London is one of those places that is kind of immune from price declines in real estate terms. It preserves.
It's geared towards, it's a market that rewards capital preservation rather than capital appreciation.
Exactly.
Istanbul
Exactly.
is on the other side. It's a real estate market that rewards high capital appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, to kind of answer your question, in a roundabout way, and many thanks for your statistics, it would appear that over, let's say, the next 5 years, Istanbul has a very, very strong chance of giving positive value growth in real estate terms.
Right.
Positive and handsome value growth.
Right.
Right?
Cameron Deggin, is there anything you would like to add?
No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, because one of a very common question that we're getting these days, given the devaluation of the Turkish lira, is it the right time to buy?
Right.
And as I always say, I've been hearing this question over the past 15 years in terms of Istanbul. Is it the right time to buy now? I heard it in 2018. I heard it in 2019, and going back, further back, 2010, 2007. In each of these years, 2013, in each of these years, there were kind of landmark events happening either in Turkey specifically or globally. So people kept asking me the same question: is it the right time to buy, or shall we wait? And each time my answer was the same. Now is as good as any time to buy real estate in Turkey. And my answer is still the same. Hopefully this will help.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Cameron
a lot.
Deggin. Guys, any questions, comment them down below. With this WhatsApp number, you can reach us. See you in the next one.
See you.